Okay, number 1, multiple choice talks about the length of AC. So AC is a segment, so I'm going to draw what AC looks like. So AC goes from here between A and C. And if AB is 8, so now I got to put B here, and I'm going to say that's 8 there. And BC is 13, so they're talking about length there. And then, let's see, find the length of AC. Well, that's just going to be 8 plus 13, which is 21. For number 2, find the measure of angle 1. So I know that these 3 angles add up to 180. So that adds up to 180 right there. So if I take 180 minus the 100 that we know, minus the 48, that's going to give us 32 degrees, I believe. So that's D. All right, I'm not going to go in order. I'm just going to go with what's on the screen. Number 6, we have a triangle here, and we have lengths of the triangle. And the thing that I notice about these lengths is that you have these two angles are the same. The base angles are the same. That means this is an isosceles triangle. If the angles are the same, then the sides across from those angles are the same. So now we know that 5x plus 2 is equal to 6x minus 3. So now I can solve that with algebra. I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides, and we're going to add 3 to both sides. So if I add 3 to both sides, this side's going to have a 5, 3 plus 2. And if I subtract 5x from both sides, that's going to be x. So x is equal to 5. And was that what they're asking for? What's the value of x? It is 5. All right, number 7. XY is the perpendicular bisector. So let's just make sure that we write what that means. Perpendicular bisector. XY, perpendicular bisector. What do we know about perpendicular bisectors? Perpendicular bisectors divide segments exactly in half, and also it makes an isosceles triangle if you go from the two endpoints to the perpendicular bisector. Any point on the perpendicular bisector is equidistant to the two endpoints. So that means that this is also the same as this. So we're looking for, what do we need? We want A to O. Well, we know that AO is equal to BO, and we know that AO is 3/2 x plus 4, and we know that BO is 1/2 x plus 12. Now, when I'm solving these, I like to clear the fractions. So I need to multiply the left-hand side by 2. I really want to multiply the first thing by 2. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to multiply the entire side by 2. And in fact, both sides by 2. Multiply this by 2. And now I have 3x plus 8 is equal to, I had to multiply this side by 2. 1/2 times 2 is 1. So 1x plus 24. So now I'm going to end up with, if I subtract the x from both sides, I end up with 2x plus 8 equals 24. Now if I subtract the 8 over, 2x is equal to 16. So then divide by 2, x is equal to 8. Okay, but they're asking me what is AO. So AO is 3/2 times 8 plus 4. So 3/2 of 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. So it seems like this is 16. So AO is 16. So this one doesn't say AO is 16. That says AO is 8. That says AO is 8. So now I'm down between C and D, or C and E. So let's go over here, and we know that AY, we're looking for AY. Well, AY is equal to BY, because we know that this distance and this distance are the same. So now we're going to set those equal to each other. So 2y plus 11 equals 3y plus 7. So I'm going to subtract 2y from both sides. So that's 11 equals y plus 7. 1y plus 7, subtract 7. And then we're going to get down to 4 equals y. So now ay is 2 times 4 plus 11. So that gives me a total of 19. So let's see, out of those two, AO is 16, AY is 19. So I guess that's E. Okay, all right, keep going on this first page. Clear the screen. Oops, clear the screen. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. All right, number 8. In HIJK, HK is congruent to IJ. HK congruent to IJ. What is the value of X? Well, if they're congruent, that means that they're the same length. So let's see, 5X plus 3 equals 7X minus 2. So I'm going to subtract 5X from both sides. So 3 equals 2X minus 2, and then I'm going to add 2. So I'm going to get to 5 equals 2x, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'm going to get x equals 2.5. So C. Okay, let's look at number 8. Ooh, number 8 is a big diagram. And what do we got going on here? Let's see. In the diagram, the angle bisectors, it's an angle bisector of ABC meet at point D. Right there. And what we know about an angle bisector is that this and this are going to be the same. Those two little triangles are going to be congruent triangles. Let's see, what else do we know? That angle bisector, this angle bisector is hitting at 90 degrees. So that's also a perpendicular bisector. If an angle bisector hits the opposite side at 90 degrees, it means it's a perpendicular bisector. So that's going to be 40, and this is going to be 40. Now in this little right triangle right here, I'm going to enlarge that. I have a right triangle with 40 for one of the legs and 50 for the hypotenuse. So that means that, let's see, 40 squared plus x squared is equal to 50 squared. So that means if I work that out, x squared is equal to 900. So x is equal to 30. So that's 30. So now I know that this distance from here to here is 30. DF equals 30. So we want DG. All right. Let's see, DG. Oh, but now we know that the spot where the perpendicular bisectors meet, any point on the perpendicular bisector is the same distance away from both sides. So that's actually going to be 30 there as well. So that was a rule about angle bisectors. Angle bisectors go right down the angle, so the distance to the sides is going to be the same at any point. All right, let's see. Now let's look at number 9 and number 5. Okay, number 5, angle measurement. Okay, we got what do I notice right here is I notice that we have an isosceles triangle. So that means if they want measures of angle 1 and angle 2, but what it tells me is that measure of angle 1 and measure of angle 3 I'm going to put in here are the same. So that means that 180 minus 50 is going to give me 130, and then that 130 has to get broken up equally between those two angles, angle 1 and angle 3. So angle 1 equals 65, angle 3 equals 65. So angle 1 is 65. So let's see, that's out, and that's out. And then now if I look at this backside, if angle 3 is 65, then this is a linear pair. So 180 minus 65 is 115. So I guess my answer is C. All right, now we're looking at number 9. So choose the statement below that is true. A is greater. B is greater. The two are equal, and the relationship cannot be determined. Okay, so we're looking at between X and Y. Well, I wonder if we can figure out what X and Y are. We have two congruent shapes here because they have exactly the same angles and exactly the same sides. So, yeah, see, they all match up. They all match up. Oh, but so then if they all match up, then this one and this one have to be equal. So that tells me that 2x plus 10, 2 times x plus 10 equals 110. So 2x plus 20 is equal to 110. So 2x is equal to 90. So x is equal to 45. So we know that x is 45. So now I think what we're going to use is we're going to use the fact that since this has 4 sides, that means that the angles add up to 360. So I'm going to use the bottom one first. So I know that 5 times y plus 2 plus 55 plus 35 plus 110 has to give me 180. So if I subtract off the 110, that knocks this down to 70 right away. If I subtract off the 35, that knocks this down to 35 right away. If I subtract off the 55, that knocks this down to negative 20. Ooh, that makes me nervous. Equals 5 times y plus 2. Okay, so then this is going to be 5y plus 10 is equal to negative 20. So then if I subtract the 10 and divide by 5, y equals negative 30. Oh, now y equals negative 30 divided by 5 is going to be negative 6. Ooh, boy. I don't like that answer. Because now I would have a negative angle there, I think. Yes, I would. So let's see. What did I screw up? Oh, why did I say 180? From right away I screwed up, people. All right, so I'm not going to clear the screen there. I'm going to set it equal to 360 instead. So 5 times y plus 2, sorry about that, plus 55 plus 35 plus 110 equals 360. I said 360, but I wrote on 180 last time. So if I subtract the 110 off, now I'm down to 250. If I subtract off the 35, now I'm down to 215. If I subtract off the 5 of the 55, now I'm down to 210. And then 210 minus 50 is 160. So 160 is equal to 5y plus 10. So subtract off the 10, now I'm down to 150. Divide by 5, y is equal to 30. All right, so x is 45, y is 30. So the value in column A is greater than, or so is the value. So this is 45, and this is 30. So looks like the volume in column A is greater in that situation. Okay, that's page 1 done.